Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I'm an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make these videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit, which you're watching right now. If you would like to know more about my knitwear designs, please check in the description below, and there you will find a link to my Ravelry page where you can browse and look at the pictures of all the things I have designed, and if you decide you want to make one, you can get a PDF for them. If you do decide you want to make something that I have designed, I would love to hear about it, see what you're planning. You can either talk with me in the comments below, or also in the description you can find a link to the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group, which is like Facebook groups, sort of semi-private, so we can share pictures, and it's pretty exciting. Now, our video we have today for you is actually because of the Facebook group. If you've watched a couple videos, you'll know last week I was in Disney, and when I first got there, I had a question in my Facebook group from a knitter who had just gotten my book, Mosaic and Lace Knits, and she had a question about one of the stitches in the books. And I made a fast and dirty video for her in the Facebook group using Facebook Live, but you know, really it wasn't the world's greatest video. So I thought I would go ahead and make a nice one for it. And the stitch that she was wondering about was it's ssk-pssf-s1, and it is a double decrease that leans to the right, and it is a mirror image of a slip-one, knit-two together, pass slip stitch over. I'll talk more about it. I have filmed my hands in the demo so you can see it. She was working on, this is the Lacy Pinstripe Cowlette, and it's very subtle, and the stitches are only, if you look down here, see how those stitches, so you're going to be working them this way. So the stitches, these are slanting, these are left leaning, so these are slip one, knit two together, pass slip stitch over. You can see the way the white stitches lean in towards the center, and then these are the matching. This is the pass slip stitch forward stitch, and they lean in, and that's only really on the second to last row, I think, but here you can see it, and it's in there, and it's when I really needed very directional. You can also see them in this hat and see how very distinct these lines are, and they are double decreases that alternate between they're these center ones. Let me see if I can get it oriented. There we go. It's these center ones. So these big straight lines are all knit two togethers and slip slip knits, but when they join, when you hit these points, they get into double decreases, and I wanted to continue to the line, so you have to have the matching right and left leaning decreases. So I have a little tutorial for you coming up. So this is a right leaning double decrease, which means that it is going to lean in this direction. And I developed it to match the slip one, knit two together, pass slip stitch over. When you do the slip one, so we're going to imagine the slip one is gone already. When you knit two together, what happens is the two stitches that you're knitting two together, the second one comes over that first one, so it leans, and then you pass the slip stitch that you previously stitched over, and it goes over like this. So what you end up with is visually a stitch that leans to the left. So it is a left leaning double decrease. Okay, let me pull this up. So you've slipped the red stitch, and then you knit two together, which pulls those stitches in this direction, so they're actually right leaning, but then you pull that top stitch over and it creates a left leaning double decrease. For the typical stitch that is matched, the right leaning decrease that is matched is knit three together, which what that ends up being
is you've got your bottom stitch that's 3 stitches, and then you have your top middle stitch, and then you have your top stitch, right? So they're all stacked up. It's kind of tough to see. Here, let me draw. So you've got bottom stitch, middle stitch, and then your top stitch comes over the top. You can sort of see that. So you end up with your right leaning decrease, but all 3 of your stitches are actually leaning in that direction. And also I find that they kind of bunch up, and I don't particularly care for it. So I developed this, and I don't think I invented this. I've found it in other places, but there's no real standardized terminology for this decrease. And what you do is the first thing you do is slip, slip, knit. So when you slip, slip, knit, what you end up with is you slip it, and then you knit 2 together, and you end up with stitches that look like this. And then we're going to pass the other stitch forward and over so it comes in like that. So you end up with your right leaning decrease, but the bottom's 2 stitches, because they were a slip, slip, knit, are left leaning. And as you can see, it matches. It's a reverse. We're going to start with slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip, stitch over, just for comparison. So you insert as if to knit, slip your stitch, knit 2 together, and then you pass your slip stitch up and over, and you end up with that. So you see the 2 stitches underneath the knit 2 together are leaning to the right, but when you pass that slip stitch over, it is definitely left leaning. Now, the stitch that we're talking about is slip, insert as if to knit, slip, insert as if to knit, slip. So you've slipped the 2. And then the way I do it is you stick your front needle through the front 2 legs and knit through the back loop. That gives you your slip, slip, knit. Then you return this stitch to your left hand needle, and then you slip. So you're going to pass slip stitch forward. I chose that terminology because it matches the pass slip stitch over, because it's really the same thing, just in complete reverse. So you grab that second stitch that's now on the needle, and you pass that stitch up and over and forward off your needle, and then you return that stitch to your right hand needle. And as you can see, those stitches, those decreases are mirrors. They match. Now I have another one set up here so you can see what knit 3 together looks like. If I insert just through all 3, like I'm knitting 2 together, but you knit 3 together, it just, I mean, it's there, but it's bunchy. I just don't like the way it looks, because what happens is that second stitch under there, it's leaning in this direction. It doesn't match. It's really what it comes down to, because in slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, those 2 constituent stitches are leaning to the left. So I wanted the 2 bottom stitches to lean to the right so that it is a true reflected stitch. Whereas in knit 3 together, you can see these 2 stitches that are underneath don't really do the same thing. So we're going to show you how to do the slip, slip, knit, slip, slip, knit, pass that stitch back to your left hand needle, pick up the second stitch on your needle and pass it up and forward off your needle, and then return that stitch to your right hand needle. I'm going to let's do the return row just so you can see how it lays. I shouldn't do my funny purl. We'll do it just the regular way so it's not so fast. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Oh, I don't have very many stitches because I didn't do any yarn overs. I decreased. So I went from 9 to 3. But you can see here, slide it here, it perfectly matches. The 2 stitches underneath are leaning this way, and then the pass stitch goes over. And so it matches slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over. So that is how you do the slip slip knit PSSF slip 1.
I hope that all made sense. I tried that little drawing thing. Let me know if that works. I was trying to explain with the pen and the Sharpie. I'm not the world's greatest drawer. And if you notice when I wrote slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, I forgot the G in knit 2 together because I have never done the writing before, but I think it might be helpful if I figure out how to do it. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up, click that like button, and if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.